today I want to explore some dreams of famous people, as well as some of my own, share with you some of my dreams. And I hope that you can leave this place and with more of an instinctual yearning to honor your dreams as sacred gifts. We have many global problems that we know about. And we have wars, destruction of the earth, poverty, injustice, and many of us wonder and worry about the very survival of our species. Some of the most basic understandings of what dreams are is that dreams are a kind of rehearsal for survival. So we need to honor and listen to our dreams now, I think, more than ever, because I know intuitively that they are trying to provide us with wisdom for us both individually and collectively. It's a biblical wisdom, yes? Without a vision, a people perish. To dream, to have visions, to be creative, to imagine something different. These are the ways that we often can find solutions to what seem to be insoluble problems. Now, historically, dreams have always been explored for many religious questions. You know, what is the meaning of life? Is there a God? What happens to me after I die? What are the ways that we can learn to live in justice and love with one another? Now, there are some dreams that are big dreams, religious dreams. Some seem to be very psychological in nature. There are many different kinds of dream, but many of us believe that all of them come for our psycho-spiritual healing and wholeness. Dreams give us a chance to play, to interact with different kinds of characters, go to faraway places, have wild adventures, face many of our fears. And sharing our dreams with others is something that can be a lot of fun. It can be very inexpensive or free, and there are blessedly very few instructions that can go along with it. We get to know, as we look into our dreams, our unconscious self. That's the psychological term for the parts of ourselves that we don't know. And this is the part, some calling the shadow, that can get us into a lot of trouble, the parts that we don't know about ourselves. But also there's a bright shadow, the parts of ourselves that are so much grander, so much more talented, so much more generous and gifted than our conscious minds can conceive of. And this bright shadow is the one that will come and gift us our full potential in our dreams. Now, I am downright evangelical about dream groups, because dream groups are a place where we share many of the parts of ourselves that we don't know about ourselves. And it's a very courageous kind of endeavor to do that. And when you experience that people love you anyway for having these mysterious, dark, fearful places within you, and as you bear witness with others who share their innermost selves, their deepest souls with you, there's a kind of intimacy that can be developed very rapidly. I'm amazed. First time people will get together, first time they get to know each other, after about an hour, they're feeling closer than sometimes people do, having worked at other endeavors for many years. I also am now leading Skype dream groups. Now I have on my Thursday night Skype group, we have people from Las Vegas all the way to Saudi Arabia. This gives me great hope for our planet, that we can intimately share the deepest parts of ourselves with people all over the world. So at 7 o'clock in California, we have a dream member who is joining us at 6 o'clock. And she's having her morning coffee with us, Saudi Arabian time. Now it is my colleague and my dear friend, my mentor, the Unitarian Universalist Jeremy Taylor, who has taught us that all dreams come for healing and wholeness, especially nightmares. And he has been a founder in this dream movement that began sort of as a second wave after the psychological giants of Freud and Jung brought back an interest in dreams. But Jeremy Taylor and others like them have offered dreams and dream honoring and dream groups and workshops and what have you to the rest of us, not just neurotic people who are mentally ill that are being treated for mental illness, but for everybody. And it's something that all of us can use to get to know ourselves better. Now, dreams have been a part of every culture and every religion for the entire history of the planet. And doing dream work, we develop this language of myth, symbol, and metaphor that many of us are hungry to speak and listen in. I believe that there's a lot of interest right now in dreaming because we are all seeking a more authentic way to live and engage with religious symbols, meanings that we can't find in more traditional, institutional religious communities, or in many aspects of the field of psychology and much of its foundation in science. We yearn to transcend the barrenness of scientific rationality and live again in the world of creativity and imagination. And there is no better place to begin doing this than in honoring our dreams. To imagine means to see an image. And every night we are given numerous images that we can dive into, swim, eat, nourish our souls. Now, Einstein believed, and I agree with him, that imagination is more important than knowledge. Of course we need both. But we have been experiencing a dishonoring of the imagination, a dishonoring of dreams, daydreams and night dreams together. And we have people, I don't think he's alive anymore, but there was a local Nobel laureate who I had the opportunity to meet once, Sir Francis Crick, who did a lot of brain research. He called dreams recycling of neurologic garbage. So there are people who are passionately against the idea that dreams can bring us great self-knowledge and collective wisdom. Descartes is credited with being the father of science, and he supposedly proved that dreams can no longer be taken seriously. But the honest fact about this is that he actually was a very big dreamer and kept a dream journal. Go figure. Descartes, the father of modern science in the 17th century, he is given credit as convincing the world of a materialistic worldview, which of course now quantum physics has challenged. But the worldview of materialism and rationalism has still many effects in the way many of us live and think. Now supposedly Descartes had a dream, and his dream was that there were two books. One was a book that was a dictionary, a definition of all things, and the other was a book of poetry. In his dream, he picks the book of poetry because he believes that the blending of philosophy and wisdom are going to be much more helpful in people in leading meaningful lives. Now, isn't that odd that he picked it in his dream and that his whole life is in fact picking the other book? So, you know, it's a very odd thing that this man who's credited for turning our world against dreams 300 years ago had this very dream that he chose for himself the other way. Now, there are so many religions that have honored dreams and use them as spiritual practice. You know what they are. They go on and on. They're, you know, in Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and Judaism. In Islam, of course, Muhammad began Islam with his dreams. We have many other religions that have had less written record of them, but in African traditions, in the Pacific Islands, in Aboriginal traditions in Australia, and here in all of the Americas, the Native Americans all historically have been honoring dreams. And even people are projected in cavemen times and women times were honoring their dreams as well. Now, recently I read a wonderful book by Roger Kamenetz, The History of Last Night's Dream, and he talks a lot in this book about a very famous dream that we read, Linda read for us this morning, Jacob's Ladder. So many of you, I'm sure you've heard of this famous story in this dream, right? And seen artwork. William Blake has a beautiful painting. Are many of you familiar with this? You know about the famous, yes, okay, so this is a very famous in the Jewish Bible. And I was reading this book about this dream, and during the time that I was reading it, I myself had a ladder dream. And I thought that was pretty synchronistic, and I thought I'd share the dream with you. I'm dreaming, I entitled it, by the way, Cliff Hanging. I am dreaming that I'm hanging on rock cliffs up in Yosemite Valley, but I'm facing out for some reason. And there's a man to my left on the ground talking to me, and we are considering how I should get down. We discussed the fact that if I fall, I would get hurt, where it's about 10 feet down. Then I get a great idea. A ladder! I asked him to get me a ladder, and I hope I don't fall before he goes to get it and comes back. Now there was more to the dream, but let's stick with this piece. I got up and I practiced what I preached. I got up and I wrote the dream down, but I also drew it because, as Carl Jung says, often our hands know how to solve a riddle which our intellect has wrestled with in vain. And as I was drawing this picture of myself in this rock, I realized, sort of this feeling of being, up against a rock in a hard place, that I was out in this odd manner, standing like this. And then I looked, it looked almost like I was crucified. Usually when you think of cliff hanging, I think of people that are going up the mountain, but for some reason I'm facing out. And then I looked at that posture, and I realized that I had been feeling somewhat tortured by several issues in my life, and very fearful, very fearful. I think that it was showing me that this cliff hanging was a metaphor for my not being able to move in my life, not being able to make the right move that I felt would lead me to safety. And also it seemed to imply a kind of climatic point in the story of my life, that I'm cliff hanging, and the story is just about ready to unfold. Now I also, when I was drawing this, I drew the man who came with the ladder, and I put it right under myself. Now that wasn't a part of my dream, but I believe that what many scientists tell us, that we actually can forge new pathways in our brain with our dreams, our active imagination, and that we can actually journey into new areas to find new solutions for ourselves. And when I did that, I realized that he was this male part of myself that I couldn't recognize, which often when we see people in dreams, we know they're a man, but we don't know who they are, we haven't seen them before. Often this can imply that there is some aspect about ourselves, a male aspect of myself that I don't know that well. Perhaps he, I thought, was the unconditional loving force of holiness that I need to rely on, the bringer of the ladder in the crisis that is within me. Now, like Jacob, I was sleeping on a holy rock in my dream. Now, his was small, a small little rock. Mine was very, very large. And I kept thinking about this ladder. Now, Jacob, in the story, in the Jewish Bible, he has just come from a place where he has betrayed his brother and his family in a terrible way. So Jacob was feeling very much a personal crisis, and he is fleeing this mess that he's made in his life. Now, in my dream, I see a ladder to heaven. And by the way, when we're in dream circles, we always talk about other people's dream as if they are our own dream. So let's do this with Jacob's dream. Let's enter his dream. In my dream, I see a ladder to heaven, and angels are climbing up and down the ladder. And I look up and I see God at the top of the ladder. I cannot see him clearly, but I know it's God. For I hear a voice, and this voice tells me, I am with you. I will always be with you. I will never leave you. And then I wake up and I think to myself, wow, God came to me in my dream. I didn't know God would speak to me in my dream. And I actually became quite terrified. It was so awesome. The power of this dream really overtook me. And I decided that I would mark this dream and make it a holy dream. And I took my rock as a symbol of a place that I could put in my life where I could view that symbol and see it and be reminded of the power of this particular dream. Now, Jacob's ladder dream, I think, is a kind of dream that transports us to another world of consciousness, to a higher spiritual realm. And all dreams, in essence, are like this kind of ladder. They take us to a higher place, to a higher self. The ladder in this dream is not just a literal ladder. Are you with me on this, right? It is a symbol, a metaphor for being in direct relationship with this mystery we call God, this healing force. So I'd like to close with another short guided meditation and invite all of you to close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine here in this church that we have on the altar here two books. One is a huge book that says